Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss about the rules regarding the variable names when we are trying to create. And in the previous class we have discussed regarding the data types as well as how the variables gets associated with the data types automatically. All these things we have discussed. And now when we are creating a variable name, we have to follow certain rules in Python. In case if we violate those rules, what will happen here is it will immediately state a message saying it is an invalid variable name. So we have to be careful enough when we are creating a variable name, and we have to follow the rules especially. So let us see what are the rules which you're supposed to follow here. The very first rule, if you see, a variable name must start with an alphabet or an underscore character. So alphabet, it can be even a capital letter or small letter, it doesn't matter. So it should always starts with a capital, it should always starts with the alphabet or with an underscore. So after reading all these rules, I'll tell you how this rules must be followed when we are creating a variable. And then a variable name cannot contain any spaces. So for example, if I'm trying to create a variable as name of the person, so I should not provide any spaces in between. I should directly give, I should provide the name of the person variable completely without any spaces, or I can make use of underscores in between. So I'll show you an example related to this. And then a variable name can contain any number of letters, digits and underscore, and no other characters apart from these are allowed. So a variable can contain letters, digits as well as underscore, but the only thing is the special symbols are not allowed, or it should not start with a digit. A variable name can start with an alphabet or underscore, but it should not start with a digit, but it can contain the digit in between the variable. So that is how you can, this is the third rule actually. And then if you look at the fourth one, a Python keyword cannot be used as a variable name. So keyword is actually, it has a special meaning in a programming language. So it actually it defines the structure of the program. So this Python keyword, like you can consider the print statements, you can consider, or else the for loop, or else while loop, and even true and false, which you have discussed regarding the Boolean data types. So all these things are considered as the keywords which you cannot use it as a variable name. So variable name is completely user defined, so it should be appropriate and it should be relevant to the program which we are developing, and it should not be relevant to the keyword which we have in the program, which is there in the Python libraries. Got it? And then variable names are case sensitive. In case if I'm going to create a variable as temperature, so temperature, if I'm going to provide it in the capital letter, the same capital letter the same capital letters, I have to use it throughout the program. I should not make use of the small letters. So like that, you have to be very careful when we are creating the variable name. So if you have provided with the small letters, you have to make use of the small letters only, and you have provided the capital letters, you have to make use of the capital letters only when we are defining or accessing the variables. And as usual, you have to provide a meaningful variable for your program. So if you are trying to add two numbers, so if you're trying to add two numbers, it would be enough if it would be enough if you give x, y, or a, b, c, any characters you can provide. But in case if you're trying to find out an area of a circle or area of a triangle, all these things if you're going to do, you have to provide the appropriate variable names like a length or a breadth, or else for circle, pi r squared, anything. You have to provide it appropriately. So that is what they are explaining here. See here, that holds, for example, a variable that holds the temperature, it can be named as temperature, and a variable that holds the speed of the car can be named as speed. Instead, if you give x and b, it will be not meaningful, right? So like this, you have to follow up certain rules when you are creating a variable. And based on this, we are going to see many examples. See here some examples of valid variable names they have provided here. So unit per day. So unit per day, it's such a long variable, but they have used underscore in between. each and every word. So they should not, we should not allow any spaces in between, right? So this is one such example. And here either you can provide an underscore to provide the readability of the variable, or you don't have to provide an underscore. So without providing any spaces also you can create a variable. See here, even student name they have provided an underscore, and father name an underscore is there. So it enhances the readability of the program. As the spaces are not allowed, you can make use of the underscore. And all the variables you have seen so far have started only with the alphabets, or you can start with the underscore. Similarly, total marks, there is no space, and then age, amount. See here in A2 or A24. So in A24, digits has been used as a variable name, but not as the very first character. So a variable name should start with a character or underscore, but digits can be used in between. Similarly, invoice number. And here they have provided some examples of invalid variable names. If you see here, 3D graph, it should not start with the number I have said, right? So this is an invalid variable name. A variable name cannot start with a digit, and then a special symbol is not allowed in a variable. So this is one invalid variable name. And then space is not allowed. This is also an invalid variable name. Then dots also not allowed, which will be considered as some special symbol. And then while, this is one of the keyword in Python. So that helps you to understand the structure of the program. So for all these are the invalid variable names which you're not supposed to use. So the very important thing which you have to keep in mind while creating a variable, or it should start only with alphabets or underscore. It should not start with a digit. And then you should not make use of the special symbols in a variable, and then you should not provide any spaces, and keywords are not allowed in a variable. And one more thing, most importantly, the variable names which you provide should be a meaningful variable. So it should be appropriate and relevant to the program which you are creating. Okay, so now let us discuss a few examples related to this. So look at this program. Here they have provided a problem, and based on that we are going to write a program. So from the question itself you can understand and you can start to write the program. So I'll explain you the very first one, and the second one let us do now. So write a Python code to calculate simple interest by inputting the value of principal amount and rate from the user for a time period of 5 years. So what they are saying here is they are asking you to calculate the simple interest, and they are asking you to write a Python code for that. So normally the simple interest formula is PRT by 100, which is principal rate and time by 100. And they have given very clearly by inputting the value of principal amount. So inputting means you can access it from the user. You can get the input from the user. Who is the user? We people are the user. So I'll tell you how this works. So you can get the input any value from the user as the principal amount, and then rate from the user. Even rate also we can access from the user. So principal and rate we are going to provide for a time period of 5 years. Time period they have given here themselves. So 5 years is the time period. Now let us see how to write a program based on this question. So principal, this is the variable. According to the program, I have told you relevant variable names you have to provide. So they have asked you to calculate the simple interest, and principal amount we have to fetch it from the user. So I'm going to provide the variable name as principal itself. So principal equal to int of input of enter the value of principal. So this is one syntax which you're supposed to follow. So in the upcoming slides you will study about this int and input function. So int, which is the integer data type, and then input is the function which we will use to fetch value from the user. For that purpose, to get input from the user, we make use of this input function. So principal equal to int of input of enter the value of principal. This is the statement which we have given within quotes, which is a string actually that gets displayed as such in the program. So enter the value of principal means what will happen? it will ask a value from the user. So if I'm going to give some 5000, that 5000 will be accepted as a string by the input function, and in turn when it accepts as a string we cannot do any calculations, right? So we have to convert it into an integer data type. For that conversion, what will happen here is this 5000 will be converted into integer data type because of this int function, and after converting the string into integer, that will be assigned to the principal variable using the assignment operator equal to. Clear? So this is how the value will be assigned to the variable now. Usually in the previous programs which we have discussed, if we give a equal to 10 or x equal to 10, directly we will assign 10 to the variable x. But it is not possible in all the cases. Sometimes we have to provide the statements in a program, right? So when you provide a statements, you have to provide the appropriate functions for conversion process. So when I provide 5000, that will be considered as a string because of this input function, and in turn that will be translated into the integer data type because of this int function here, and then the value will be assigned to the principal variable. The same will happen here for the rate variable also. So here rate also they told to access from the user, so rate variable I have provided here. So same int of input of enter the annual rate of interest. So if I'm going to provide some rate of interest here as 5% or 2%, that will be assigned, that will be considered as a string, in turn will be converted into the integer data type, and in turn assigned to the variable rate. And time period they have provided as 5 years. So I'm providing the variable as time. So all these principal, rate and time are user defined. You can provide it as P, R and T also. It's our wish. Concept is it should enhance the readability of the program. So time period is 5 years, so time equal to 5, that you can give it directly. And now we are going to insert the formula here. So simple interest formula. So this simple underscore interest is also a variable which has been defined by the user, and the formula according to the variable which you have given, you have to create the formula. So PRT by 100 is the formula actually. So principal, rate and time. This asterisk represents multiplication symbol. So principal, rate and time divided by 100. So this is the formula actually. And when you give here, what will happen? The respective values which has been stored inside the variable temporarily, as variable is like a container, that value will be substituted here automatically. So 5000 into 2% if it is going to be the rate. So into time is 5 divided by 100. So we will get one value. That value will be assigned to the simple interest variable now. Clear? And now what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the overall amount. So amount is another variable which we have created now. And for this amount, what we are going to do here is the principal amount plus the simple interest amount what you have got by using this formula. So when you add both these things, you will get the final amount. Now with this amount variable, you will have the final amount that will be stored here. Again in the simple interest also you will have one amount, right? You will have a value. So these two values we are going to access here in the print statement. We have to display the result, right? To display the result, we make use of the print statement. So this print statement, see here, inside the print statement, simple interest equal to the money symbol, the rupee symbol within double quotes. So it is user defined. This one we have provided a string, so it will get displayed as such on the screen, comma. It is the syntax of the print statement. As per the syntax of the print statement, we are defining here. So simple underscore interest. This particular variable I'm accessing here. So when I access here, what will happen? The value which is inside this simple interest variable gets displayed here after this simple interest equal to. Similarly, amount payable equal to amount, for amount variable, whatever value which we have stored here, that gets displayed here. So this is how you're supposed to write a program, and this is how the program works actually in Python. So based on the question how to write a program, I have explained you now. So one more example I'll tell you based on this particular question now. And before that, see here, to get input from the user we use functions like int and input functions in Python. So this int function as well as the input function, for what purpose we are using here is to get input from the user. Here they didn't give any values for principal as well as for rate of interest, so they have told you can get it from the user. So to get it from the user, we make use of this int function and input function. So integer data type, you will use it for conversion purpose, and then input function, we will make use of this function to get input from the user. Okay, so let us see now how to work on this particular example. Okay. So the question actually given here is, a student has to travel a distance of 450 kilometer. So what is the distance which has been given? 450 kilometer by car at a certain average speed. At a certain average speed they have given, but they have not given about the speed. Speed details is not there. So speed you can get it from the user because they have told clearly that it is an average speed. And then write Python script, which is the program to find the total time taken to cover the distance. So what they are saying here is we have to find the time. To find the time, what is the formula actually, which is distance divided by speed. Distance we have here and speed we don't have, which you can get it from the user. So let us see how to work on this program now. So the very first thing what you have to provide is distance. So distance they have given here as 450 kilometer. So what am I going to do? I'm going to type, better I'll go to the script mode. Okay, so if you see here, I'm going to work in the script mode. So for distance, I'll provide the value as d. I'll provide the variable as d, whereas the distance value is 450 kilometer. Units, it is not necessary to mention here. And then speed, they have told that you can get it from the user. So I'll give it in short, int of input of. What am I going to do here is enter average speed. So all these are user defined, where you can provide it on your own. See here. So when you how much ever brackets you're opening, you have to close it. So here I have opened two parentheses, so I have to close it appropriately. So now int of input of enter the average speed which I have given. So this one you can get it from the user. So we'll see how this works. Then time. So everything I have provided here in capital. So the same capital letters I have to use the variables. So what is the time formula, which is distance divided by time? So d divided by speed, sorry. So d distance divided by speed, that is the formula actually. And after calculating, I should print the result, right? So print of what is the time period? We have to calculate the time period, right? So time taken by the vehicle, that you have to find out. So to find out this, I have given a string followed by the variable t, comma, because t is the formula which I have given. The value gets stored in t, so that variable I have provided here, that value will be accessed, followed by I'm going to give some string as har. So I'm closing the bracket here. Now I have completed my program. See, distance I have provided, speed I'm going to access from the user. I'm going to get as an input from the user, and then time, which is the formula. So once it gets calculated, the value gets stored in the variable t, and then this t I'm going to call here in the print statement. So the value gets displayed here. So let us save this program and let's see what is the output. You have to save it with .py extension, and after saving you can run your program by directly pressing the function key F5. Okay, can you see the result here? Enter the average speed, it has asked. See, enter the average speed. As distance I have already given here, it will ask you only the speed as I have given in the input function. So input function, it helps you to get input from the user. So average speed I'm going to give here as 80 km per hour. So distance is 450 kilometer and 80 kilometer per hour is the speed which I'm going to give here now. And if I press enter, see the result will be displayed. So to reach the 450 kilometer distance, the time taken is totally 5.625 hours. Got it. So this is how we will work with the Python program. So by reading the question itself, you can understand. First, you have to understand the question, and then you have to think what are the variables you can give for the program. Followed by that, you have to logically think what are the formulas, whether you have to provide the formulas or in what way you can solve the problem. So like this, you have to work in Python program. I hope you understood this. Now let us see the next thing, Python keywords. So what is meant by a Python keyword? So Python keyword, I have told you it is a reserved word, right? So keywords are the reserved words, and each and every keyword will have a special meaning in the Python interpreter. So Python keywords, if you see, it is case sensitive, as Python itself is case sensitive, and keywords must be written exactly like what they have given in the table. Just look at the table. These are the keywords which you have in Python. For example, false, none, true. So as of now, you have discussed only about these three keywords like true, false, and none. Apart from this, you have many other keywords like and, as, break, and then continue, class, finally. So all these are many different keywords which you are going to use in the upcoming classes. So except false, none, and true, all the other keywords will be written only in small letters. And if you see false, none, and true, the first letters should be written in the capital letters. Apart from these three, all the others should be written only in small letters. To display all the list of keywords which you have in Python, you have to write these statements in the Python shell window. So I'll show you how this works. So import is also a keyword in Python. See here, import keyword, if I'm going to give import keyword followed by print of keyword dot kw list. So if I'm going to provide like this, it means KW is the keyword actually, right? So keyword.kw list, whatever keywords which are available in Python, everything gets displayed now. Can you see? So all the keywords gets displayed here, and, as, assert, break, so class, continue. So everything gets displayed here in the Python shell, the available keywords which you have in the Python shell. And so regarding expressions, we will discuss in the next class. I hope you understood till this keywords and regarding the rules of variables. So we'll meet in the next class, children. Thank you.